Hey guys, James here. Quick transparency. This is a singular part to what will essentially be a 12-part series that I do throughout the year, where I just steal an idea from the purple guy and basically just do a media retro, or not really retrospective, but kind of my media list for 2025. Again, all transparency, I am stealing this from the purple man himself. I'm not gonna name him just because I think everyone in my audience knows who I'm talking about, and I want to go throughout the year, not directly naming any big Death Battle YouTuber names, and just see if people can understand who the hell I'm talking about without me ever saying their name. But I am essentially stealing this idea from him, and only I'm not gonna make 2 4-hour long videos. I'm just gonna do like singular parts for each month. This is gonna be in the start of every video. So I hope you enjoy this, and I don't know, let's just go watch the video. So Kaiju no 8 is a series I've been getting more into lately with the manga after reading the first volume last year and then watching the whole first season of the anime about I think it was like a week or two later. But Kaiju no 8 Volume 4, very good volume, all things considered. It's all stuff I already know of because it's in the anime. But the art scene here is really good. The fight between the Daikaiju and Hoshina, pretty cool fight. And the whole like sacrificing the identity with Kaiju no 8. I want Kafka. I think that's his name. Yeah, I'm. These aren't scripted. Yeah, Kafka. That was a really cool scene, and I'm excited to see how the fight goes with Kafka and that one general in the manga. Was how it'll be drawn in here. Don't really expect like these manga parts of my reviews to be too lengthy, as it's just like a singular volume, so it's only like a small handful of chapters. But yeah, this volume is pretty good. I'm excited to see what comes after, because I do believe it's either gonna be volume 5 or 6 where we start getting into the stuff not in the anime yet. So I am excited to see that point. So I have not seen Knuckles before watching Sonic 3. I love Sonic 3. That movie was amazing. But I couldn't see Knuckles beforehand. I did not have Paramount Plus, so I was kind of stuck, and I was hoping, hopefully I won't have to see the show before seeing the movie, and it does seem like that. Seems like the only the only thing that calls back to the Knuckles show was like one clip, and it's like you don't really need to watch the show for that. But I found it at Walmart for like $15 on DVD, and like I figured it's pretty cheap for a 6 episode series. I might as well give it a watch. And I haven't heard anything about the show beforehand, so I didn't really know what to go in. The only thing I knew was the flames of disaster, because that was all over fucking Twitter. But I gave the show a watch, and I don't know, I liked it. I liked it overall, but I can see why people might not have liked it, because for being called Knuckles, Wade is definitely more of the focus here. Since like there's whole episodes that just doesn't have Knuckles in it, and it's mostly just focusing on Wade, and it's like his story arc regarding like his dad and him leaving. So yeah, I could see why people might not have liked it. I liked it enough. I thought like it was worth the $15. 6 episodes, half hour each, so I didn't really regret it. It's not like the worst financial choice you can make. But I thought it was fine. It was overall fine. It had its moments of being entertaining. It had some funny moments. It's not anything I feel like you need to watch. Like if you really like the Sonic movies but you haven't seen Knuckles, you're probably fine skipping it. If you want to watch it, go ahead. But it's not like it's not needed. I don't know. It's fine. I do like Wade as a character for the most part, but I do think having it focus mainly on him and not the character we're here for, Knuckles the Echidna, is a really weird decision to make. Like, the acting was fine, it had good jokes. I did not dislike this short series. But I can see why people might not liked it, and why they were disappointed by this show. I saw it was fine, but yeah, I'd rather have focused on Knuckles than Wade and his story arc. Or if they just marketed this as Wade's story arc, or this Wade story, and Knuckles is there to help. But I get why they wouldn't have done that, because who the fuck's gonna watch that? I don't know. I don't hate this. I think it's fine enough. But yeah, I can see why people might not have liked Knuckles. Digimon Adventure Last Evolution Kizuna is a wonderful movie. I somewhat grew up on Digimon. I watched the original series as a kid back in like 20. I want to say 13 on the home computer. I didn't really fully grow up with it, as I didn't really watch much Digimon past that. I did watch Fusion back in really late 2016, maybe early 17. And I watched a good chunk of Data Squad. I don't think I've seen the full series, but I did watch a good chunk of that. So I haven't been like fully up to date with Digimon as much as I would love to, because I do whenever I do check this series out, I always do have such a fun time. It's a great series. I know last year I did try rewatching the original series, but I kind of stopped pretty early on. Mostly just because it's long and I got caught up with other stuff. I would like to fully rewatch Digimon. Anyways, Digimon Adventure Last Evolution Kizuna is sort of the finale to the original Digidestin, or at least for Matt and Tai, who are like the oldest of the group. And I love this movie. Visually, it is so good looking. Like, the visuals for this film is amazing. I do like the soundtrack for it. And the villain in this, Minoa Bulechi, I don't remember her Digimon's name, but she is a very, very good villain. It is a twist villain, so sorry I spoiled a 4-year-old movie for you. But she is a very well-done twist villain, and I like her motives, as it ties into the whole themes of the movie of growing up. Because the big thing with this movie is just, growing up from your childhood. Tai and Matt are both somewhat stuck in the past and not really sure where to go in the future with their futures. And that's constantly shown throughout the movie. And then, Minona's whole motive is that she wants everyone to be able to fully live their childhood, as she lost her Digimon because she grew up too fast. So now she has a new Digimon, one that was basically digitally made, like a full-on artificially made. It's not like most Digimon. And she's using that one to put a whole lot of other Digimon tamers and their Digimon in a more comatose state to be able to, to forever relive their childhood and not have to grow up. So, kind of like making a idealistic world, but one where no one can really grow and learn as people. Which, yeah, that's the big thing. Tai and Matt both have to grow and learn. To grow past their childhood of being Digidestins, as the film has a very sad ending. Basically, in order to save everyone, Tai and Matt have to fully Digivolve Agumon and Galmon. Is that... Galmon? I cannot remember how to say his name right. But have to fully Digivolve him past Omnimon in order to basically save everyone. But in doing so, they basically have to give up their Digimon. Which is very sad, because these guys are, very best friends with their Digimon. And then it ends on, the final scene in the movie is, Tai, or, both of them talking to their Digimon, what do you want to do tomorrow together? Or it was, the Digimon saying that, what would you like to do tomorrow? And then when Tai and Matt respond, together we, and then they look back to their Digimon, and, Agumon and Golemon are both gone. It's very fucking sad! Because now they do have to grow up. They can't be stuck in this, but they're ready to start growing and moving on with their future. Like I love. Sorry, fuck. I'm choking on my own tongue here, but I love that. It's very sad, but I love it. I know people who grew up with Digimon and stuck with it to the very end, or still do. I'm pretty sure the series is still going on, just differently. But those people are definitely going to love this film way more than me. And honestly, I really need to get back more into Digimon. Like, fully rewatch the original, watch the one with the new Digidestined. And, like, they're in this movie, too. They're all older, and, hey, their Digimon are fucking cool. Like, I really need to do that. And I really need to watch the third one with, like, Renamon and, Golemon. Gabumon. It's Gabumon, right? It's Gabumon. That's Matt's Digimon. Fuck. I'm pretty sure. I'm bad with remembering some of these names, because some of them sound really similar to me, like Golemon, Gobumon. It's mixed up in my head. But I love this film. It is definitely only for Digimon fans who are very nostalgic with this, though even if you're not nostalgic, you can definitely enjoy this as a Digimon fan. I do recommend giving this a watch if you are a Digimon fan, if you surprisingly haven't already. I did spoil everything, but still, it's worth watching. And I love this film. This isn't going to be very... You could probably tell by now that all these reviews aren't going to be the most coherent. These are all unscripted. I'm not professional. I'm just talking about stuff I went through the year. But Digimon Adventure, The Last Evolution, Kizuna. It's a wonderful movie. It's definitely for fans, and a great way to end off, like, the original Digidestined story, at least Kai and Matt's. The other Digidestins aren't really in here that much, but apparently there are, like, other Digimon Adventure movies where they get more focus, and I think I heard maybe, like, some of them might get there might be, like, another Digimon Adventure movie in the future. That might put more focus on, like, the other characters, like Matt, TK, Tari, like, all those guys. So, I'd like to see that. I need to watch more Digimon, but I really like this movie. It's a wonderful film. Freaky is a horror twist on the movie Freaky Friday. It's a horror comedy movie, and it was fun. It was a fun little movie. Not anything like super groundbreaking, but it's enjoyable for like horror fans. I do like the story for it. I like the horror twist on Freaky Friday, where the killer and the last girl switch bodies, and now they have to survive in each other's bodies. That's fun. It's a fun premise. It's simple in that regard. I do think it's a very funny movie, which it's a comedy. It probably should be very funny. I do think the acting here is pretty good. There are some points where it feels a bit more like the acting is kind of in like that okay range. Like, I see what they're trying, I just don't think they land it. Most of the time, the acting is good. A lot of good jokes here. Not all of them hit, but a fair amount do. The majority of the jokes I do think hit well enough. And then there's some pretty good kills here. A lot of creative ones too. It's a good movie. I don't really think I have too much to add. I like our main girl. I like the killer. It's a good movie. I really liked Happy Death Day, the whole like horror spin on Groundhog's Day. And surprisingly, I didn't really get to watch. I didn't really get to watching Happy Death Day to You until like years and years later. I think this came out in 2018, and I didn't really watch it until this year. But Happy Death Day to You is kind of just the first movie again. Everyone's still good. I still like Tree. Tree's a great protagonist, and she's completely reasonable throughout this whole movie. And it's still like a baby mask face killer, and still killing Tree, as Tree is still stuck in this time loop. But Happy Death Day to You is still a very good movie. Like, again, it is just the first one, but again, Same day, it's just a different timeline where Tree's mom is still alive and she's not dating her boyfriend at the end of the original movie. So, yeah. But this one, I still think is a good movie. I don't think it's as good as the first one. Like, the killer, it kind of does pull a bit of a Scream. We got two killers here. And they're fine killers. Like, I do think it's just best described as the first movie, but again, and slightly weaker. It's still a very funny movie, just like Freaky. It's a bit of a horror comedy type movie. And it doesn't have as gruesome of kills, but it still has some decently creative ones with Tree constantly fucking offing herself because she's stuck in this time loop, and it's because of a real sci-fi dimensional thing in a fucking high school lab. Or not high school, but like a college lab. It gets more into the realm of being unbelievable, but does give reason. Like, it gives an explanation for a Tree originally being in this Groundhog's Day loop. It does get, like, the whole explanation is a bit confusing, but it's not really, like, the main focus. The focus mostly is just Tree, figuring out a way to get back, and also her having a bit of a moral dilemma, because in the original timeline, her mom is dead, and she loves her mom. It's a big part why she didn't really like her birthday, as it fell on the same day as her mom's. So there is a bit of, like, this thing of this Tree figuring out, is it worth going back, and she does end up doing so. But there also does become, like, a bit of a risk, as normally she just die, come back, as the day starts again. But this time she's died so many times that she is at risk of dying for good in this death loop. I do kind of wish it followed a different character than Tree, as, again, it kind of just makes it where it's just the first movie again, but Tree does have her character, her new character arc in this one, and she has the experience from the first movie, and her character growth in that. I do think it's a perfectly fine film. It's good. It's a good movie. It's definitely worth watching if you're a fan of the first movie, and if you haven't seen the first movie, I do recommend giving it a watch, as it's a very fun movie. It's good, and again, it's like I think it's like PG-13. It's not aimed at like a more gruesome audience, but it's still a really fun horror movie with some solid enough kills. Like, I think in the first one, there's a death used with a bong pipe. That's kind of fucking cool. But happy Death Day to you. It's a fun movie. I think that's the best way to say it. It's a fun movie. It's good. It's not as creative as the first one, but still a well-worth experience. Paprika is a very weird movie, but a good weird. The movie kind of like shifts between a dream world and a reality. It constantly shifts throughout to where, like, about halfway or so through the film, the two worlds are merging together, and oftentimes it feels you can't really. It's hard to really tell what is a dream and what is real. And the movie is very bizarre for that, and it works. The plot is also very, like, loose. Like, there is a main plot to it, but it's a very, like, loose feeling plot. It's not fluid. It often, like, kind of wavers a bit, and it can be hard to tell what's going on, but it works in the movie's favor. The movie feels like a surreal dream. It's hard to remember exact things, but so much of it is so surreal feeling. Like, you don't really know what's going on. And that's the best way to describe Paprika. It's a very bizarre film, both, like, in its storytelling, but as well as its visuals and its music. The music often feels surreal, like, what you're listening to just doesn't really sound right. It's very bizarre sounding, and it works in the movie's favor, don't get me wrong. And, like, the visuals, often the visuals feel very surreal. It's very, like, lucid. Sometimes it's hard to tell exactly what's going on, other times it's pretty fluid. And I do think this works in Paprika's favor to really have a unique experience with a movie. And I also do like the cast here. I do think the villain is a bit on the forgettable side, mostly because it feels like we don't really see the villain until, like, way late in the film. That could just been me not paying attention, though, because I was, like, multitasking while watching this movie. But it's odd. It's a very odd movie. It's an amazing movie, too. The visuals, while very, very wonky in a way, are very good. How often it can shift from, like, okay, this seems pretty normal, to just a very surreal mindset. Like, things are bizarre. It works with the visuals, as the visuals can constantly keep switching between these. Especially when, like, you know they're in a dream. The visuals go hard with this surreality. And, like, the music, which I am playing now, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. This is a very great movie. I'm not doing it justice by my shitty explanation on things and repeating. But this movie is great. It's bizarre. It's very, like, fever dream-esque. I recommend giving this a watch. And probably another one later down the line, as it's a movie I feel like you should rewatch at least once to get more of a full experience, to go, like, for, like, some things to possibly connect to each other. It's a good movie, and like I said before, I think, but I do like the cast. I can't remember any of their names but Paprika, but it's a really solid cast. Most of the characters are pretty likable, and I can't really find too many flaws with them. And the side character that originally, like, wanted to make a movie with his friend, I do like his story, and, like, figuring him out, and, like, he can't remember, like, some stuff about his past. It's a very well-made film. Again, I can't do it justice here. I'm not good at that aspect. Again, this is all unscripted. But this is a wonderful movie. It's an amazing experience. I do recommend going and give it a watch. So, for, like, no apparent reason, I decided I'm gonna go into, like, one of my close friends' Discord server, just go in the voice chat and just start streaming Family Guy with no explanation. No one ever shows up to these. No one ever goes in, like, the fucking voice channels. But I just been doing this for like a couple weeks now. No reason. No reason I'm doing this. I'm just doing this because I can and I feel like it. And I'm just doing it, like, in order. I don't know how long I'll do this, or if I'll do, like, every episode of Family Guy. I probably won't, because, good God, I think that's... I'm not Ellis Mark. But, Family Guy Season 1. This is the first, like, rewatch or re-experience of the year. I tend to go through that type of stuff a lot. And typically, like, things I haven't really looked at in forever. And Family Guy Season 1, or just Family Guy in general, I haven't really watched since, like, 2017, because I was, like, really into Family Guy during that when I was in, like, 7th grade. I watched the show so many fucking times, and I just haven't really, like, sat down and watched a full season since. And Family Guy Season 1, it is a very different experience compared to watching, like, any modern episode. Like, it has a more of a wholesome feel to it, while still being a bit of a parody to, like, those typical type of shows you normally see on TV around that time. And for only being 7 episodes, it's pretty good. A good amount, like, a lot of funny jokes. Not every episode lands, though I wouldn't call, like, any episode in this season particularly bad. I think the worst, it was just, like, it's okay. It's definitely weird seeing, like, the show during then, after being so used to, like, nowadays. It's a good 7 episodes. It's funny, there's a lot of good jokes here, a lot of humor that's more so around that time, but I still find funny despite not being around when this show, when this season aired. It's funny. Family Guy is funny, outside, like, irony. And I'm curious to see how well these seasons are going to hold up with, like, the modern view, like, with, like, modern Family Guy in mind. But season 1, for only 7 episodes, pretty good. So, A Silent Voice is the manga I've been reading lately. I started about 2 years ago, read a couple more last year, and I do want to keep continuing this year. And so far, I have read for this year Volume 4 of A Silent Voice, and like, I love the manga. I love the movie. I rewatched it for the first time in like, I don't even know. I want to say 6 years last year, and it was one of my favorite things from that year. But in like the manga, it's still very amazing. I love the manga. I do like the art for it. It's not like anything like super like insane, but it's still really well done. And I still really like the story during this. I think like the most notable part here is two different things. One is Shoko and Yuzuru's grandmother passing away, which we don't really get to know their grandmother too much before she passes, but you can like we get enough knowledge to know like yeah, this definitely had an impact on Yuzuru. It also impacted them both and their mom, but we do get like enough time to really like get to know the character. Be like, it's a little sad to see because she was a very well character. She was very well character, a very well written character. She's very much caring for her granddaughters and her daughter, despite the mom here being a bit standoffish. And the other main thing here is at the at an amusement park. When I forget her name, but the main girl that's not Shoko, the bully girl, I'll call her. Like she is a bitch. We do not like her in this household. And like we get to see like her private conversation with Shoko in the Ferris wheel. And like how that did affect Shoko, like even more, and like also how Shoya is viewing stuff, and like the whole conversation he has with Yuzuru after the whole funeral with the grandmother, we get more an understanding on how Shoya, like how he views the world, and this isn't like new in this volume, but I do love the perspective of people having X's on their faces. It's like the show, and like it's always to show Yuzuru's perspective on people with his guilt, his depression for what he did in the past, and how he has a hard time looking people in the eyes, how he has a hard time facing people. I love that little detail, and how it briefly leaves the bully girl, but it does come back after their whole fight at the amusement park. It's how he views people. And I love that. I love that little detail. The manga is amazing. For anyone that has watched the movie and you loved it, I do recommend reading the manga. It's only 7 volumes, I believe, so it's not like a really long read. I am hoping to hopefully finish it up this year. I have 3 more volumes after this, if it is 7. And yeah, this is a great read, great volume. I like how we went from Family Guy to a really, emotional manga. Back to fucking Family Guy. But Family Guy Season 2. It's a really good season. It's really classic. It has that classic feel to it. I like a lot of the jokes in it. A lot of them, you look at them, you think modern Family Guy with all the gore and the violence. But no, now it's just, often averts expectations because of that, both because of that mindset I feel like I have now with Modern Family Guy, as well as just subverting the expectation of where you think the joke was gonna go. There's a good amount of episodes here that did kind of feel unfocused, like it feels like they start with one narrative, but then they kind of change to another one, and then change to another one, or come back to the other one very loosely. It's odd. Yeah. That's like my main criticism for the season, just that. Some episodes feeling pretty unfocused. But other than that, there's a lot of great jokes here. A lot of classic jokes people make regarding Family Guy. And a lot of references people use for it appear in this season, as well as the next 2. But this one has a good chunk of them, and I love that. This is just a very funny season. I don't have much more to add. Don't expect a lot of detail from these fucking Family Guy ones, but Season 2 is a very good season. So this is the last of the ones that I did before deciding to do this project, but Family Guy Season 3, it's just more and better of two. Like, there's so many classic episodes here, and so many classic jokes that are still funny to this day. It's currently my favorite season so far upon this marathon. The Season 4 will probably beat it. So I think I'm like over halfway through that one. Yeah, the season is amazing. So many classic jokes here, and we're still in that age where, like, the family don't hate each other. Like, they don't actively hate each other. They do have problems with each other, but it's not like an active hatred. Like how, like a lot of Modern Family Guy does. This is an amazing season. And, like, so many funny cutaway gags and just general jokes in this one. I like a lot of the character writing. I have noticed during this that Stewie really stopped being evil. Like, it's every now and then, but it's not as nearly as often as what it was, say, like, Season 1 and early Season 2. But, yeah, this is another, like, amazing season. It's really funny. That's, all I got. So, Golden Time, I just, like, randomly saw a clip of it online and saw it. This kind of looks funny. It was an out-of-context clip, and I was like, I'm curious, what the hell, why is, two people being sacrificed to a bunch of people inside of a room? And, like, why it was, like, comedic. I was curious, so I decided to look up the anime, and I binged it. This is probably the only reason I would have ever watched it. That clip came up pretty early. It was in, like, the first, I don't know, 5 episodes, maybe? But Golden Time, I thought it was a pretty good anime. I did look up, like, a lot of people's thoughts on it after I finished it, and it seemed to be a kind of a mixed receive anime. A lot of people consider it a pretty good. Some consider it a underrated gem. I saw a lot of people consider it garbage, and they dropped it pretty quickly. I decided to watch through the whole thing, and this one's gonna be, it's still unscripted, but it's gonna be a bit more of a in-depth review than, like, some of the other things I've discussed here. But Golden Time, it takes place in college. It's a romance comedy, something I don't typically watch unless there's also, like, action or whatnot in it. This is already very much, like, not really within my field, but it's a rom-com that takes place in college instead of, like, your typical high school. So, like, everyone here are college students, and it does kind of feel like college, at least from what I know of it. I didn't fucking go. But we follow Tada, who has amnesia and doesn't remember anything about himself or his past, after falling off of a bridge after an accident with, like, a motorcycle or bike. I don't know. It was, like, kind of a motorcycle. But he has amnesia and does not remember anything from his past. And at college, he meets a good couple of characters, such as Coco, Mitsuo, Oka, and Linda. Linda was someone that he actually knew beforehand, before, like, going into college and losing his amnesia. And it turned out, like, he confessed to her, and she, like, was hesitant to accept that, and, like, the reason why he was on the bridge was Linda told him to meet him there so she could give him her thoughts, or her answer. But, like, he does not remember any of that. So throughout the anime, it is basically kind of like that. And there's always, like, what I'm going to call Ghost Tada. It's Tada's, who he was before becoming who he is now. Before he lost his memory. And, like, he shows up every now and then and acts as kind of the antagonist for the second half of the anime or so. Because Tada ended up falling in love with Coco. And Coco, like, those two date. Coco's, like, the main girl. Oh yeah, there's also 2D. And it's not his actual name, it's his nickname because he likes 2D women. Yeah. And, like, this anime, I liked it. It was pretty good. I like the whole cast outside, like, Ghost Tada. Like, I like all these characters. I think they bounce off each other really well, and honestly do feel like real human beings. Like, yeah, you'd see these people at college. And while there's, like, this supernatural aspect, which is another point of criticism, I don't mind it too much. Maybe that's just because I like the whole supernatural thing. I like that type of stuff, so I didn't mind it too much. But I guess maybe like other people who just want a slice of life romance comedy had taken place in college. Yeah, I guess they might not like that, but I personally didn't mind it. And the execution for it, I'm mostly kind of mixed on overall. The aspects I like about it is, like, Ghost Tada and Tada feel like very opposite people. Ghost Tada was, he tries a lot more. He's desperate to get pussy. Meanwhile, Tada, he's more chill. He's patient with people. He's willing to listen. He's a guy you would like to go get a beer with, probably. So they're very different, and then like Ghost Tada, because he doesn't have the same feelings for Linda as he did, kind of puts a curse on Tada, and it just really fucks shit up. He tries to basically ruin the relationship with Tada and Coco, often taking control of Tada's body and trying to get back to Linda. So that's probably like what I don't really like. That's like my main complaint with the anime, just how they handle Ghost Tada. Because I love the idea, I love the concept. But Ghost Tada, he's kind of a dick. Like, he curses their beach day for, like, it's raining, people are getting fucking lost. And, like, on the way back, everyone is really tired, and, everyone's kind of falling asleep while Tada and Coco are trying to stay awake, and Coco's the one driving, but Tada ends up drifting off. And then, because Coco has no one talking to her, she also starts drifting off while at the wheel, so it caused, like, a big accident, and it really, like, messes her mentally, because she almost could have gotten all of her friends killed. So, yeah. And then, like, Ghost Tada is just a dick. He's a dick to people, mainly Tada, and everyone else just trying to get to Linda. And, like, Linda's a very nice person. She does feel, like, heavy regret, remorse, and guilt, because she blames herself for Tada's accident, and basically losing all of his memory. While current Tada, he kind of runs from his past, in a way. Like, he doesn't know anything about himself, but he does think, like, people want the old him back. That his parents, that Linda, they want the old Tada back, not this current Tada with no memory of these events. So there is one episode where they do go back to, like, the hometown, mainly him and Linda, and he starts to have fun. He realizes that that's not important. And, like, there's a whole, like, theme of moving on from the past. As you could probably tell from my description there of kind of like the whole thing was like Ghost Tada. But moving on from the past and not getting holed up on stuff. Because another aspect about this is Mitsuo and Coco, they were childhood friends. And Coco was dead set determined to get married to Mitsuo, like planning out their whole life. Until Mitsuo just spelled it out clear as day that he is not interested. And after that, Coco and Tada start to become a thing. And that's pretty early on. It's not like a will they, won't they throughout the whole series. They get, like, together pretty quickly, like in the first 10 episodes, I want to say. So there's not, like, the whole annoying trope of will they get together, won't they? And I do appreciate that. That trope can be kind of annoying. Part of why I don't like this type of stuff. But, yeah, that's kind of the plot of it. And then, like, but, like, the whole, like, going back to the moving on from the past, Coco kind of moves on from, like, this whole life she thought was ahead of her. And, like, forgetting that part of her, or, like, moving on from that part of her past, and not becoming so thirsty for Mitsuo. And more so focusing on it focuses a lot on, like, the here and now. Like, that's mostly what you should be doing with your life. Focus on, like, here and now. Kind of, sort of. And because, like, another aspect in it is, when Coco was talking about wanting to have her first time be, like, in France. It's like thinking way far off into the future, like a honeymoon type fucking thing. But meanwhile, while Tada is gone for, I think it was when he was gone visiting his hometown, Coco made a shitty sculpture of the Eiffel Tower. And so it's like more so just embracing the here and now, doing things now. Like when the moment feels right to do it now. That, you know, I hope I'm explaining this well. They don't do it. The fucking shitty thing falls on her head and hurts her, but still, it's a very, like, a rom-com. It is kind of funny. Like I said, I do think the whole cast bounce off each other pretty well, and a lot of them have really fun moments with each other. Like, I don't think I really disliked anyone from the main cast except for Ghost Tada at points. And then there's the ending, which I kind of see mixed receptions to that as well. I see some people say they were disappointed by the ending. I was more so getting annoyed by the build-up to it, as there was this constant battle between, like, Tada and Ghost Tada on, like, who's taking control, and then it seemed like it was building up to, okay, Ghost Tada is now in charge, he is fully back, and this new Tada will be forgotten about by him. However, like, I was kind of concerned, like, this is what the anime is going to end on. It's going to end with Ghost Tada is now back, the Tada we knew is gone, and now he's going to hook up with Linda, because Linda does share the same feelings for Tada as Tada did Linda. So, I was kind of worried that's what I was going to go with, because I really like the whole theme of, like, move on from the past. Like, things that happened in the past, yeah, they're really shitty, they can be really traumatizing. But you do have to move on at some point in time. Or fully just embrace your past and grow from that. Like how Tada is embracing, like, his past and learning more about it and choosing to grow more from that. But then the anime does not do what I was afraid it was going to do, and he does end up with Coco by the end, after a bit of scheming with 2D and I think Linda as well, to get Tada's memory back. Or his current, like, Ghost Tada embraces that, yeah, his time is up. But now there's a new life with Tada, and now Coco. As he does get back with Coco at the very end, on the same bridge that he fell and had his amnesia. I like the ending well enough. Thinking about it, I can see why some people may have issue with it, with how it's handled. Because, like, there's this scene of fucking, like, it's the younger Tada from the end of high school, and it shows, like, I'm gonna call it a spirit of Linda running up and saying yes, she accepts his confession. But, like, it's adult Linda. It's not, like, teenage high school Linda. It is Linda from college. So it's I can see that that's kind of weird. Kind of a weird execution in that part. But other than that, I do like this ending. I'm mostly just glad it didn't, like, turn out how I was afraid it would turn out. But Golden Time, there's also, like, the stuff like the visuals. I do think it has some pretty visuals, especially with, like, its openings and endings, as well as the music in the series. I think the music is very good. I know there was, like, one theme where it kind of sounds like it's like two different moods. I don't know the name of the theme, but it was very weird. But, like, the music and, like, the music for, like, the opening and the endings, they're pretty good. I think they're really solid tracks. And, like, overall, I do think Golden Time, it's a good anime. Would I recommend it to everyone, though? Like, I would say, like, some other type of projects or games or anime? Probably not. It's a rom-com that does have kind of a mixed reception, so if you're not into rom-coms, you're probably not going to dig it. If you're not a fan of, like, supernatural aspects in a mostly slice to light... Why can I say that? Slice of life anime, yeah, you probably won't enjoy it. But if you want, like, a fairly short, I think it's like 24 episodes, a fairly short rom-com anime that you could just enjoy, and you just like seeing the characters interact, I think you'll have a good time with it. Again, not for everyone, but I personally did enjoy it. I think it's a good anime. I don't think it's going to be something that really sticks heavily with me, like say, like A Silent Voice or Komi Can't Communicate. But I do think it's a pretty solid anime. If you want to check it out, go ahead. It's not something I would, like, highly recommend. But I'd still say, like, if you want to watch it, it's probably worth your time. Again, we go from, like, Family Guy to something that has, like, a lot of emotion to it, to Family Guy again. But Family Guy Season 4. My favorite season so far. This is, like, the end of what's considered the golden era of Family Guy, so probably going to be a bit more downhill, though I do believe up to Season 7, like, Season 7 is, like, the last season people consider good. But Season 4, yeah, my favorite season so far. It does start a lot of the trends that became more disliked as the series goes on. Like, there is more violence here. The Shut Up Meg started during this season, I noticed. Or, it really became more apparent during this season. And, but they're not too bad during this one, probably because, like, oh, hey, this is, like, where it originally starts, and they don't, like, it doesn't feel excessive. It's not fucking cats getting skinned or anything like that. Or, like, fucking not care. I was gonna say not caring if Meg died, but, Peter, guys. But yeah, this is a very great season. Again, a lot of, like, the classic jokes a lot of people do, like, comment on are in this season. Same as, like, the last two and 3. There's a lot of good jokes in this, a lot of good cutaways. There is a good amount of, like, good character moments. I like a lot of the scenes with Stewie and Brian. Brian gets a lot of good episodes here. He doesn't feel like the douchebag he is now. I did see a video saying, like, the show started to go downhill when Brian started to go for Real Women, which started, I think, last season. Though it wasn't too bad then, and I still don't think it's too bad now. As this might have been last season, but there's, like, one episode where some lady was making Brian take the choice of either still be friends with Peter or be with her after something that went on with naming the school. But he stuck with Peter, where, like, nowadays I feel like Brian would not stick with Peter at all. But he actually did, like, stick with being friends with Peter over going with this lady. And honestly, that's pretty cool. That might have been last season, actually. I'm not sure. Either, like, somewhere last season or early Season 4. But, yeah, Family Guy Season 4, my favorite so far. Plenty of good jokes. The characters still feel like they like each other, even if, like, the Shut Up Meg thing kind of started here. And Quagmire isn't too bad. It feels like there is some level of restraint with him. Not a lot, but there is some, at least incomparable to nowadays. I don't know. I like the season. This is probably Family Guy's best. It's funny. The characters still actually feel like they're characters and not caricatures. Really good season. So, Delicious in Dungeon, I watched the first half last year, like the first 12 episodes after they saved Fallon. They brought her back to life as the giant chicken. And I thought that was the end of it. I didn't think the anime continued after that, because at the time there was no more episodes past that point, and that kind of felt like the whole, like, journey to bring back Fallon after she got devoured by the dragon. So I was kind of thinking, like, okay, this is the end of the series of the anime, or at least the end of Season 1. And I figured, like, oh, that's going to be Season 1 then. No, it turns out that there were 12 more episodes. And I kind of heard about it through Twitter, but I didn't really go and, like, watch those episodes until this year. And for the first 12 episodes, I was concerned, like, this is a good anime. I don't think it's, like, as great, I guess I should say, as people make it out to be. It's still good. It's like a solid 7 out of 10 anime. I see why people like it, but I don't think it's, like, the greatest thing. And after watching these other 12, it's pretty good. I still don't think it's, like, the best. I think it's pretty good. High 7, maybe nearing that 8 range into the great category. But, Delicious in Dungeon was, like, the big anime last year, and, yeah, it's good. I like the premise of it, just, like, the main premise of just, like, cooking, monsters found in a dungeon, and then just eating that, and it kind of does look like actual food. I think that's fun. I also like the main cast. I think everyone in the main party, I think they just all bounce off each other well. I don't really dislike any of our main characters. I can't remember all their names. I'm bad with remembering names, but Laos, I can't say his name. Marcel Senshi, the half-foot. I'm blanking on his name. I have like a list pull up of the characters, but I'm not seeing him for some reason. But I think is it Chilchuk? I think that's his name. Yeah, I like all of them. I'm bad at remembering names and pronouncing them correctly, but I do like the characters here. I think they do bounce off really well. And I also like the inclusion of Itsumi. I think she's fun. It gives a different perspective, as she's pretty different from everyone else. It's a fun little family. And I do like the story, the whole of like after reviving Fallon and she becomes a chimera, of like, oh, now they have to go and get her back after she was abducted or something like that. I don't know. I was sort of loosely paying attention there in that part. I think I was working on something else while watching it. But Delicious in Dungeon, I think, is a very solid anime. I definitely see why it got really popular. I probably wouldn't put it anywhere near my top 10 or 20 or so. Probably not anywhere near that, though. Saying that, I don't know what my top 10 would be. I just know the top few. I probably could say my top 5 or so manga easier, but I think this is a good anime. I do definitely see why it blew up as much as it did. It's good. It's worth the watch. It's not even long either. It's about 24 episodes for the first season. And I heard season 2 is coming. I don't know when, but yeah, I'll probably watch that when that comes out. But Delicious in Dungeon, it's a pretty good anime. I definitely see why it got so popular. So I finally got around to watching season 2 of Arcane after a lot of people were mad that the Fallout show beat it at the Game Awards. I haven't seen Fallout show, so I don't know if that's deserved or not. But Arcane season 2, season 1 was I kind of half paid attention to season 1 when I was watching it. I thought it was definitely good. I think, on a visual spectrum, it is amazing. Arcane as just a series, it's visually amazing. And that goes into Season 2. So Season 1, I didn't really remember too much of it, which I was glad there was, a recap for Season 1 at the start of Season 2. It kind of covered all the, it was the important stuff, at least regarding to, to Jinx and Vi and, their chemistry. And their whole sibling history. So that was appreciated, because I remembered very little from Season 1. Because I was what? 3 years ago? That came out in 2021, right? I think that was late 2021 that came out. If not real early 2022, but I think it was 2021. But Season 1, I thought it was good. I couldn't really tell you much of it, but I thought it was good. And Season 2, kind of in a similar boat for me. After I finished watching it, I was curious on the general consensus of it, because, I don't know. I looked up reviews for Season 2 on YouTube, and I saw, weirdly, a lot of mixed stuff about it, or going by, titles and thumbnails, which, yeah, those can always be very misleading in YouTube's modern market. But I saw a lot of people saying it fumbled, how it was disappointing compared to Season 1, how, it really missed the bag. But I also saw a lot of people saying it's very good, it's a beautiful mess in a positive way. I assume positive, I don't know. But I seen a lot of mixed stuff. I was just also remembering a whole bunch of the praises the show was getting during the Game Awards. Well, more so people mad that it lost to Fallout. But my opinion on Arcane Season 2 is it's good. There were definitely times where I was kind of having struggles to keeping track on what was going on. But that is most likely my own fault, because I was kind of multitasking while doing it. But there was definitely points where I was really fucking confused. Mainly that whole time loop episode, where I don't remember their name, but the one character, it kind of looked like he was in an alternative timeline to the Arcane show, I think. I don't know. It's probably my own fault for not fully paying attention, and the show's fault, so I won't, like, criticize it for that. But there's definitely points where it's very odd. Like, it's kind of, the plot can get a little confusing. I think that's definitely, like, the biggest offender of that. Also, like, the shit going on with Victor, where I love the visuals for, like, the Victor's ending thing, where he's, like, some sort of fucking god or whatever the hell. God of the magic of that world. I think. I don't know. I liked how it looked visually, though. It was very beautiful. And then, like, the show itself, like, the main plot was Jinx, Vi, and, like, the other characters, I can't remember their fucking names. Like, I liked it. It was alright. I definitely liked the moments of, like, Jinx and, Isha's chemistry, like, those two bonding. It felt like kind of like an older sister, younger sister type of deal. It was very cute. I liked it. It was nice. And then, like, seeing, like, Isha fucking bomb herself, I guess. That was sad. That was sad, because that's a fucking child, an orphan child in this chaotic world. And also, like, Jinx's supposed death, I know, like, I was looking up a video, and, like, one of the ones was, like, Jinx didn't die, or something like that. I don't know. But, like, that was also, like, a sad death, ultimate sacrifice. But Arcane Season 2, I think it's good. I probably didn't enjoy it as much as other people did. Or maybe I enjoyed it more than other people did, going by fucking YouTube video titles, but I think it was good. It's definitely, like, kind of confusing at some points, but I do think it's good. The visuals are fucking objectively amazing. Like, the animation for it is just, it's beautiful. It's really well done. I really love the art style. And I love, like, a bunch of fight scenes, especially with, like, the music in it that was used. It definitely, like, really captures, like, the vibe. I don't really know how to put this into more coherent sentences and words. But, like, the more, I was gonna say punk rock, but I don't think it's punk rock. But, like, there's one fight, I think in the first 3 or so episodes of, one character, I don't think it's Vi, fighting what looked to be like a fucking gremlin or something. I really liked the action during that, and the music also bumped it. And also that fight between Jinx and, Vi in the episode, I was gonna say the name, but I think I would have been a little off, but it's the one where Vi finally calls, Powder Jinx. Like, the fight in that was really good. It was really well animated, a lot of cool choreography. The camera work was also very good. It's a very good season. It's a good season. I do think, like, the visuals are definitely, like, the most, like, the thing I love the most throughout this season. I love the visuals for Arcane. I love the art style for it. I especially like it when it has that, like, the punk scratchiness that you kind of know with Jinx, like the scribbles. I especially like that. It's a nice touch. It's memorable. I don't know. This is not a coherent review. It's not even a review, but Season 2 of Arcane, I just think it was good. I don't know if that's a popular or unpopular opinion, or if YouTube just gave me a bunch of videos saying fuck this season, and it's like the minor part of the community. I don't know, but I saw Season 2 was good. So I've been trying to get into, like, the Sailor Moon series as of late, because Sailor Moon vs. Madoka is almost in my top 10 favorite matchups. And also I've been finding the manga series at a local grocery store. Well, not grocery store, but a local store, Meyer. I shouldn't say local, but it's local in my state. And I think the state underneath us. Anyways, I've been reading this lately, and I just finished Volume 3. And for, like, the first two, and including this, I've been very mixed with the series. Like, I really want to like Sailor Moon. It's a classic. But I do have my issues with it. I do think 3 is definitely, like, the better volume I've read so far of the 3 so far. I'd probably say 1 or 3 is my favorite at the moment. Probably 1 is my overall favorite. But my issue with the Sailor Moon manga is the pacing kind of sucks. I think it does not have the best pacing. It often feels like a lot of things happen way too fast for its own good. It often leads to me being very confused on like what's going on at certain points. And also the artist for it, I don't remember the name. They don't put a lot of like background detail. So a lot of times it's kind of confusing on like where we're at and how we got here, at least with me reading it. And they like to fill the pages with characters and text. So like you're going through all these panels, page by page. There's a lot of text. There's like a lot of characters on there. It's very like hard to keep track of a lot of stuff going on at points, which makes it like not a fun read. And it's mostly just like, I have the first 5 volumes, I might as well just read through these. And I don't want to feel that way to the series. I really don't. I do really want to like Sailor Moon. And Volume 3, Volume 2 I think was the worst offender of this. I had such a hard time keeping track of what was going on. They would mention something, I'm like, that happened? And it's like fucking weapons being destroyed, like the Guardians' weapons being destroyed. Also, it's dropping like plot things like Usagi and fucking Tuxedo Mask. I don't remember his actual name. They're reincarnations of fucking leaders on like the moon and Earth or some shit like that. I'm like, what? What the fuck? It feels like very, very like breakneck paced, and it never really feels like it gives the time of day to let you like catch up with what's going on. I think Volume 1 did this the best, as like it was when they were still introducing the characters, introducing each of the Sailor Scouts. So I think that was able to have like go at a moderate pace. You could really like catch up with what's going on. But a lot of the times it's just like goes from like one spot to the other. Like we could go from the fucking arcade to like a different planet or reality or some shit like that. Or not the arcade, but underneath the arcade at the base. And it's very weird. I don't like it. There's also like the sailor in the fucking in the video game, and like, oh, she's real now, but then like I kind of forgot about her until talking about her now, because like, where the fuck did she go? And Volume 3, okay, I want to say this real quick. Volume 2 ends with a child pointing a gun at Usagi, which is it's just really fucking funny. It is a toy gun that just shoots out like a little flower at the start of Volume 3. But like Volume 3, it kind of starts this new arc of the Dark Moon, the Black Crystal, the Black Moon. I don't know. I don't remember the name of it. And like them, they're like kidnapping the other Sailor Scouts, and the only one left is like a Moon and for some reason Venus. Like they got Mercury, they got Mars, they got Jupiter, but Venus, nah, don't worry about Venus. And also leaving Tuxedo Mask. There's also Usagi's future child, Chibi Usa, who I just keep reading as Chibi USA every now and then. But like it's following this current arc, and Chibi Usa went back in time to get Moon to help save her future against the Black Crystal. And there is like there is a panel in this where Moon is saying that she jumps at the word black, and I think I must have been tired as shit because I found that really funny, because how terribly you could take it out of context. But I do think this one is better. The story feels a lot more like coherent, where I feel like what the hell it was trying to do with the arc in the second volume, it felt all over the place. While Volume 3, I feel like it's a lot more like, okay, I can get what's going on. I feel like I can keep track with everything. And there are points where it doesn't really explain that well, like we are changing from this sequence to another. Like fucking changing from like Usagi back in Earth in the present to, oh, now she's on planet Nemesis, and she can't use her abilities, and then, oh, now we're seeing the free Guardian Scouts that were kidnapped, and now we're going back and seeing Chibiusa's whole story, or backstory, whatever, and why she went back, and everything leading up to that. It doesn't feel like it transitions to these sequences all that well. And I'm hoping this is just like early volume issue, and like, oh, these will be able to clear up as the manga continues, as there's like, I think 18 volumes, and this is only volume 3. So yeah, I do think like, as we go on with the story, this will fix itself more as it goes. That's what I'm hoping, at least. But volume 3, I do think it's alright. It does have pacing issues, especially during, like, it's throughout, but I don't think it's as bad as volume 2. Where I didn't really like volume 2. But volume 3, I do think it has, like, these pacing issues, and puts way fucking too much on, like, on the pages. When it comes to, like, putting characters on here, and putting, like, whole shit tons of text here. When, like, I want some detail in the background, and, like, leading to point A to B here. That's more so what I want. But, other than that, I mostly like this volume. The Sailor Moon volumes are, like, really long, and I don't really have that ambition to get through them as I do of things like, say, Komi Can't Communicate, Taiju no A, Black Clover, My Hero, Chainsaw Man, like, other stuff like that. I don't really have that urge, like, with Sailor Moon. Mostly because, like, the whole shit was, like, pacing and, like, going from one spot to the other. And, like, it getting kind of confusing on what the hell I'm looking at. I don't know. I want to like Sailor Moon. I really do. I think it's fine right now, but I am hoping it does get better as the manga goes on. I haven't found volume 6 anywhere. So far I really just have up to volume 5. I've seen 7, but not 6. But Sailor Moon volume 3, I do think it fixed upon some of the issues I had with 2. It still has the issues I have, but they're not as bad. I'm hoping these issues will continue to work themselves out as the manga goes on.